In this video, I will be talking about logic operation. We're going to talk about and or not. The way these logic operations work are the same in all languages. However, the syntax is different. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the syntax in C#. Using the symbol AND to do the logic operation of AND would look like this. If I have a condition A and the output of that condition is true, then I have another condition called B and the output of that condition is true. A and B, the end result will be true. If the condition A, the output is true, condition B, the output is false, the final output of A and B is false. If the output of A is false and the output of B is true, A and B is false. If the output of A is false, output of B is false, A and B is false. As you can see, it takes one false condition for the whole output to be false. Here's an example of the first row. If I declare the variable int number 1 and I assign it the value of 5, then I have another variable called int number 2, assign it to 10. Condition A, or the first condition, would be int number 1 greater than 2. In that case, I'm comparing 5 and 2. Is 5 greater than 2? The answer would be true. Condition B is comparing the value of int number 2 with the value of 7. Is int number 2 greater than 7? Which means is 10 greater than 7? That will yield a true result. True and true equals true. Changing the values I'm comparing my variables to will impact the results of the test condition. In this case, int number 1 continued to be 5, so is 5 greater than 2? The result is true. The second condition, int number 2 is 10. Is 10 greater than 15? That is false. True and false. The end result is false. The third example, I'm changing the value that I'm comparing in the first condition. So int number 1 greater than 6. Is 5 greater than 6? That is false. Int number 2, which is 10 greater than 7, that is true. False and true is false. The final conditions are is 5 greater than 15, that is false. Is 10 greater than 30, that is false. False and false is false. Using the logic AND makes it a lot easier for you to test several conditions in the same line of code. And you can add several conditions in the same line. One thing to keep in mind is for AND operation, it takes only one false output or one false condition for the whole result to be false. Using the symbol AND to do the logical operation AND is called a short circuit operation. What that means is that the compiler will only execute the code until it has enough information to come up with the end result. What that means is for logical AND, it only takes one false. So when the compiler gets to the first false condition, it will not execute the rest of the conditions. So this table, the way it is executed in the compiler, will look like this. The first line, the compiler will execute all of the three conditions. So it will test condition A, condition B, condition C. Each one produced a true result, ending in a true output. The second line, it tests condition A, true, condition B is true, condition C is false, the output is false. In the third line, condition A is true, condition B is false. As a short circuit operation, the compiler is not gonna continue to execute the rest of the conditions because it has enough information. So regardless of the value of the C condition, it doesn't matter, the output will always be false. The same is true for the fourth line. When you go to the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth line, the second the compiler gets a false result, it's not going to finish executing because it has enough information to get to the end result. And this will improve the efficiency of your code because this table would look more like this. The second logic operation is OR. Using the symbol for OR operation, it works the same as the AND operation. The only difference is for OR operation is that it takes only one condition to be true for the end result to be true. So if condition A is true and condition B is true, the output is true. If A is true, B is false, the output is true. So A or B is true. If A is false, B is true. A or B is true. Both of them have to be false for A or B to be false. Here are the same examples we had before, but this time we are using or instead of and between the conditions. The first condition is true, the second condition is true, A or B is true, and this condition B is false. However, that did not change the end result. In this case, A is false, but again, it did not change the end result. For A or B to be false, both conditions have to be false. Just like the AND operation, you can add as many conditions as you want, and it only takes one of these conditions to be true for the end result to be true. Using the symbol OR is also a short circuit operation, meaning that the compiler will continue to execute until it gets enough information to get to the final result. For OR operation, all it takes is one true for the end result to be true. So the way this table actually is executed would look like this. The compiler will execute condition A. If the output is true, then the output of B or C doesn't matter because all it takes is one true. So the compiler will not execute or test the condition B or C. The same happened for the second line, third line, fourth line. The fifth line, A condition is false, so the compiler will go and test B. Once it gets true, it will not execute C because that will not impact the end result. The same happened in the sixth line. The seventh and eighth, the system or the compiler will test all of the conditions. And just like the AND operation, this will improve the functionality and processing time for your code. The logical operator NOT will reverse the output. So if the condition A, the output is true, not A is false. So it will flip the output. Sometimes this operator would be helpful if you want to switch the output when you test several variables at the same time. Here's a quick example of that. Here's another example where you flip the output for an OR operation between condition A and B. Here are a few examples of using AND OR operation, and we're going to go through all of them. I'm going to make the rest as a comment, and we're going to test the first two lines of the code. In my code, I defined the first variable called int first number, and I assigned it the value of 5. The second variable is called int second number, assigned to the value of 10. The output would be right line, and I put the test condition inside of the output. A good programming practice is anytime you do any kind of calculation, even logical operation, you want to define a third variable and save the output of whatever operation, whether it was calculation or logical operation, inside of the new variable. I'm not doing this here because I just want to show you a quick example. Looking at the condition, int first number, which is 5, is that greater than 2? That is true. The second line is going to be int second number, which is 10, greater than 7. 10 is greater than 7, so the output will be true, true. Here you can see the output after we run the code. Now we're going to try the other two lines. In this line, we're going to test the AND operation. Int first number, which is 5, greater than 2, that is true. Int second number is 10, 10 greater than 7, that is true. So true and true, the output should be true. In this line, we are using the OR operation. 5 greater than 2, that is true. 10 greater than 7, that is true. True or true will be true. Based on the conditions we tested in this application, all of the output is true. To show the difference between AND and OR operation, I'm going to change the operator here. This condition is no longer true. Is 5 lower than 2? That is false. The second part is still the same, so it's still the output is true. But now, since I'm using AND operation. This line will be false because it only takes one false for the output to be false in an AND operator. With the OR operator, since all it takes is one true, the output of this line will continue to be true. So even though the first condition, end first number lower than 2, is false because 5 is not lower than 2, this line will continue to be true because the second condition, end second number greater than 7, the output of that condition is still true. So the first two lines are true. The third line where I used AND operator is false. The fourth line continue to be true even though that one of the conditions is false. This example, we're using if-else statements. The first if-else statement, we're going to be testing the condition end first number greater than 5, end second number lower than 15. End first number greater than 5, 5 is not greater than 5, that is false because 5 equals 5. It's not greater than 5. End second number lower than 15, that is true. 10 is lower than 15. So false and true, that would be false, meaning that is the line that's going to be executed. It's going to show us the result of false. Over here, I'm testing the same condition, but in this case, I changed the logical operation I'm testing. So instead of AND, I'm using OR. Is 5 greater than 5? That is false. Is 10 lower than 15? That is true. In this case, this is the line that's going to be executed. So this line is going to show me false, and this line is going to show me true. Here is the output for that code. Using logic operation can help you a lot in writing your code, as you can test multiple conditions in the same line of code, and it will improve the functionality of your application overall. I hope you found this video helpful. Have a great rest of your day.